Hey guys, a bit of a different video to the hauls that I usually do. I just thought, I wanted to do it a while ago, but I thought I'd gain some experience in the industry before I came on and did a video, because I've literally, I've not even been in it that long, but long enough to tell you, and had quite a few interviews, to tell you what it's like. I mean, I get asked quite a few questions about just tips for the interviews. Do you actually need any qualifications to go in, or can you just go in? I'm not like I don't know how to say this, but a professional in this. I've not had that much experience, but I'm just going to tell you from my personal experience how everything went. So yeah, everything is pretty much just down to my preference and my opinion. So I've got a few questions written down on this piece of paper, so I'm just gonna crack on with it. How I got into doing into the travel industry in aviation. I always wanted to do it from secondary school. I was always up for me and Mum sat down. I remember picking my GCSEs and she sat down with me and she was like what are you actually interested in? And I was like, I don't even know. I was in year 8 when I picked my GCSEs. I said, I literally don't know what I want to pick. I ended up going with media. I like advertising and stuff like that. What else did I go into? PE. Oh my god, what else? How can I not remember? It was literally 3 years ago I left. Media, PE. Obviously your maths, English and science and whatever. Spanish, that was really bad. And to be fair, I didn't come out with many GCSEs, but this is my point for coming on, to say that your grades don't actually dictate, don't obviously they do, but in aviation it mainly is as bad as it sounds, looks, personality, your customer service, and just as long as you get that industry, that experience in customer service, they will take you on, because as long as you've got enough background knowledge of being in a customer face role, then they literally don't care. I got into it was, I sat down with my mum and chose irrelevant GCSEs, nothing to do with travel, and then she said to me a little bit later, what do you actually want to do? And I said advertising, so I picked media, marketing, stuff like that. And then she was like, Molly, what about cabin crew? And I was like, yeah, and something just clicked, and I was like, yeah, I would love to do that. And I've always wanted Virgin, always wanted Virgin. Currently with Wizz Air at the moment. I'm going to say too much, but I literally went just for the interview at Gatwick, just for the experience, because as you know, cabin crew interviews are quite intense. They're not just a face-to-face interview and that's it, you've got the job. It's role play, you have to read out a bit of paper with the whole group and say what you do in that situation, and as long as you're the one mainly getting involved, they're going to look for the person, the strongest, most powerful person that's getting involved, etc. But yeah, I decided to go to North Kent College in Dartford, and I did 2 years, level 3. I went in on level 3. I was quite lucky really, because my grades weren't all that, but my mum was actually pooping herself because she thought I was going to go on the low grade, which it doesn't matter, it just takes you a little bit longer. So yeah, I went in on the level 3 and I think I got merit in the first year and a distinction in the second year. Still passes, doesn't matter, even if you got passed, don't matter, distinction's just a better grade, to be honest. And then because we was in COVID, I actually couldn't apply to any cabin crew jobs because there wasn't any going. So I waited out a year and carried on at college, stayed on and got a degree, which I'm actually graduating in 2 weeks' time from now. So yes, it's proper exciting. whilst being at college, I worked just like part-time jobs while studying at college. I mean, college entailed a lot of coursework, but if you're anything like me, tests are my weakness. Like, exams are just in one ear and out the other. So doing coursework, having that bit of extra time coming home after college, being able to have days off in between working and focusing on coursework really did help me. Like, that just worked for me. Do you need qualifications to get a job in the aviation industry? Probably, I don't know. I know some people have gone into the industry without qualification, but like with everything, it helps if you've got some sort of experience behind you, or and grades. I mean, I may as well have done it because my GCSEs weren't very good, and I just thought you may as well, because it looks so much better on your CV if you go into a job like into cabin crew or whatever, pilot, whatever, anything in aviation, and you've got that degree, or that even just the two grades that I did get in the first place would have got you through anyway. You didn't need a degree. I only did that because of COVID, and I couldn't actually get a job in the industry. So I think it's better to have that. And then also, with me having the experience of part-time jobs which are faced in customer face role, really helped, because if they can see that you've got some sort of like you people skills about you, then they're more than likely going to take you on than somebody who has got nothing. There's no background industry. They left school and they did nothing, like, and then they'll take you, like, they're just going to be like, well, I'm going to take that person who's got more knowledge, more background experience with people than someone who hasn't. Do you know what I mean? But it varies. I mean, this person could have so much more personality than this person has. You just never know. But I would say go to college, do whatever, get some background grades and whatever, and then I'd start applying. What do they usually ask in interviews? So I've only actually I've had two. I've had for Wiz, obviously, was face to face, and then another airline I've had was online. The airline I've applied for has been online interview, and they vary. I prefer face to face because I messed up on an online one. I mean, there was no time for pausing the video, and they were like, the whole thing literally got deleted, and I ended up pausing. I didn't mean to pause the video. Someone came in the door, and I put myself, and I was like, oh my god, they're listening to what I'm saying. It's a distraction. Whereas if you're in person with somebody doing an interview, they're less likely to say like anything. Like you'll just carry on with the interview, and or they'll pause the video if someone's standing there. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's online, you pause it, your video's gone, it's deleted, and you've got to do the whole thing again, the whole assessment again. Fuck was that? Hate me on my own. So I'm just gonna say like what my experience was with interview. So pretty much what you do in cabin crew interviews, like I said, it's not just a face-to-face interview, meet the person, and then you're gone. They'll tell you whether you've got it later or not. It's not like that. It's very long, let me tell you that. But it has to be, because they've got to pick the right candidate for such a big job role. I mean, you're like a paramedic, firefighter, nurse, midwife, general first aider. You're anything. You're literally, and you're the face of the brand. So I think cabin crew is quite a big responsibility, 100%. And anyone who is cabin crew would 100% agree with that. So pretty much, you either apply online for it, or I got this through my college, where they said there's like an assessment day where they're recruiting for cabin crew. And me and my friend went from college, and we generally thought it was just going to be like how you get through interviews, how a cabin crew interview is, and what to expect, and tips and stuff like that. It wasn't. It was the real thing. We get there, and I literally was like, right, we just got to stay cool. That's it now. We're doing this. And I wasn't that bothered where I was getting it or not, because I generally wanted to go just for the experience. As I said, I thought it was just for like tips and stuff. So I was thinking, if I can gain some knowledge and tips from this, and I'm going to my interview that I actually want, what airline I actually want, then I'll smash for it. But I ended up getting the job, and here we are. But this is my experience from the whole everything. So I'm just going to tell you from start to finish. So yeah, so I went with my friend from college and sat down and just started going. We met a load of people there. We didn't actually know them, so we met them outside. It was in a Gatwick hotel. I can't remember what hotel it was. I think it was like the Sofitel or something like that. So I went outside, checked in with the reception. Everyone was waiting outside. So we just waited for them for a bit until like the recruiters came through. There was two of them, two ladies. They were actually really nice, to be fair. One was quite strict than the other one. They called us through. So I think in all there was about 11 of us all together. And we all got given like a token for your number. So every time, you had 5 stages to this interview, and every time you wouldn't get that one, they'd call out your name, and you'd go home basically. They wouldn't let you in, so you had to get through the 5 stages to the end in order to get the job. And if you, to be honest, if you make it to the end of the interview, you just knew you got the job, because, well, that's if you've messed up in the interview, I suppose. But all in all, the last thing is you pretty much made it. Do you know what I mean? So the first bit was, tell me a bit about yourself. She was like a one-on-one. No, the first bit was actually like a group PowerPoint of what Wiz is about, how many aircrafts Wiz has, what, like everything like that. How many in the industry, how many passengers can go on like the A321neo, like all of that, right, basically. So once that was done, they called you out one by one to just go through yourself. So pretty much, you would try and go first because you were eager to get the job. You wouldn't be too pushy, but you wouldn't want to go last, because the minute you're like shying away, no. I mean, I'll tell you some things they were quite strict on. It depends on the airline, but sometimes they don't allow tattoos on your hand, tattoos like around your neck, like tattoos that are pretty much visible. You weren't allowed, like, no, you're not allowed nose piercings, tongue piercings, and they're strict. I wasn't allowed this. I had an earring here, I had to take it out. You was only allowed like just simple stud like that. And then my watch even had to change. Like, I had like the fabric one that goes with the Apple Watch, and I had to get this. So they're really strict. I'm not allowed a necklace either. Minimal makeup, pretty much like this, like a nice dark eye, blush. You have to have lipstick on. They're very like funny about it. Sorry, that's another question. But I think it's quite good to be strict on it, because you are the face of the brand, and they want you looking like top notch, pretty much. So yeah, so I can't remember which part I was on. Went through first bit, so we do like PowerPoint, show you a bit about everything. Then you get called through. So I think I went like third, can't really remember. It was quite a while. I think it was like March now, quite a while back. They just say, tell me a bit about yourself. So I pretty much rail off what was on my CV, but just talking about it. So I just said, I'm Molly, I'm 19. I worked in I worked in Marks Spencer's for a bit, then I worked at Royal Grange Hotel. And then because of your age as well, they'll see like how much experience you actually have just for your age. And then I said, like, I did travel and tourism for 2 years, did level 3, and then I did it for another year and got a degree in it, so level 4. Just pretty much railed off. Just literally, it's easy as they say it. Tell me a bit about yourself. You're obviously not going to sit there and go, oh well, I play on my Xbox and I don't do much. You're not going to say something like that, do you know what I mean? Be like professional with it. And then they ask you stuff like, so then you go out, so that'll be the next bit. Literally, person got through the first stage and they got sent straight home because they had tattoos on their arms, on their hands, and piercings. That was it. They didn't even get a chance to do the interview. They were gone. Oh, and one of them had a belly top on, so they literally sent them home straight after that as well. Then you, what's the next stage? So that's like the second stage. So then you've got like 3 more steps to go, or 2 more. I can't remember if it's 5 stage or 2 stage. So then they ask you, I think this one was, sorry, battery. This bit was the interview, I think. I don't remember the interview being, yeah, the interview was the last thing. There was a one-on-one interview at the end. So they'll just ask you, like, tell me a time when it's been a difficult experience at your work. Tell me a time when there's a customer's, like, and you've actually tried to stay motivated, like, stuff like that. Sometimes you can just make it up on the top of your head if you haven't got any, because I've had, like, quite a bit of experience in customer-faced roles, so I know exactly what to say, and what I've experienced is the truth. But it doesn't matter if you lie, they're not going to find out. As long as you can use your initiative and come up with something pretty quick, they're not really bothered. Then we did, the 4th one was like, you sat in a group and you had to read off a bit of paper, and it said on the piece of paper something like, so there was someone like, on the plane there was like elderly people, children, someone with, there was a crash on the plane basically. I don't know how to start from. And you had to pick who were the most important people and why. And then this baby should stay with this man, because even though he's got a broken leg, he should stay with him because that's his son, and do you so. Pretty much just using what your thoughts are, and they wanted to work out, one being you working as a team and communicating with the rest of your like candidates, but also you sort of using your initiative and you coming up with something quicker than the other team, and then they'll basically picking you out to be the most powerful one is what they like about you. Oh, you had to do, so yeah, there is 5 things. Then you had to do a scenario, right? So they give you a piece of paper, you pick up anyone, they're all upside down, you pick up this piece of paper and it says, there's a woman, I think my one was like, there's a woman on a plane, obviously, with her son, but she's pregnant and she wants to sit near the window, but this elderly man's creating a scene and doesn't want to move. Something like that, and I can't really remember, but you just have to act out with this candidate where someone else is watching you. It's quite intimidating, and marking you down what you're saying with this other like recruiter basically. And I can't even remember what I said. It must have been alright because I got the job. And then I think I said something at the end like, "Oh, give the little baby a treat" or something at the end of it. And I think that's what like pretty much got me through, just being cheeky. And yeah, I think that's just what they pretty much like. So what you've got to do is, from my experience, I'd say is pretty much just try and put yourself out there. Like, I mean, I'm only 19, I've not had that much experience, but you learn so much from the industry. The industry is quite daunting. It can be intimidating, the interviews can be intimidating, and it's crazy, like, what it can do to you. Like, it makes you a much more confident person, 100%. I feel better, so much better for doing it. It's an amazing industry to work in, 100%. You get to see a lot of things. But that was, yeah, pretty much that was just my experience, and my opinions and everything. I mean, I hope I answered enough questions. I mean, people were asking me like, so how long did you go away for? I went away, so I got the job in March, and then they set my training up for June. Started June the 14th, trained for like 6 weeks in Luton. They put me up in a hotel. They paid for the hotel and your breakfast. You just have to pay for everything else. And I did come. Some people didn't come home because they lived from like other countries, but Luton was like an hour and 10 minutes away from my house. So I came back. My family picked me up pretty much all the time. Came back quite a lot at the weekends or whenever we had 2 days off in between all of it, so it was quite good. And then I'd go back again. I mean, I would struggle sometimes to go back, but I met such amazing friends that I'll keep forever. I mean, it was that even the training was experience in itself. The interview was experience in itself. All of it is experience, and you're young, so no matter how, just try and gain as much experience as you can. Like, it all helps, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's the end of my video. I'm hoping the next video will be like a Zara haul again, because who don't love Zara haul? But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you soon. Bye.